have been talking about a whole lot in Nigeria, trying to find solution to, well, the insecurity situation. Joining us to look at that is an ex-member of the U.S. Army and anti-bomb squad, Chris Moghalu. Good to have you this morning.
Good morning.
Well, good morning.
Okay.
When you get to hear all of this, even before you came back home, you see Nigeria on the news, and stories like this, bomb blast somewhere or the other.
Absolutely.
What comes to mind?
Well, what comes to mind is Boko Haram, terrorists. You know, in the past, we've been looking at what do they want? That's the question that people have been asking. What do Boko Haram terrorists want? Well, initially they didn't want Western education in the north. That's what they said they didn't want initially. But over the time, it progressed to other things. Some of them want institution of Sharia law in Nigeria. Some factions of them wanted the President Jonathan Goodluck, to fail because he's not from the north. Some also don't like Christians and other religions that are not, radical Islam. Then some are being used by politicians to carry out assassination of opponents. Some are simply unemployed and angry at the status quo. So, as you can see, there are a variety of reasons that you can pick from.
And if we decide to pick from any of those reasons, again, we'll still go back to the modus operandi, which I want to, because it's all about solutions. Everyone has tried to see how they can get all of this sorted out.
Okay.
You're a member of the U.S. Army anti-bomb squad, and now we're getting to see the way bombs go off in some places. Some have been nipped in the bud, which is, well, kudos to the security operatives.
Okay.
But how can we get more of those out of our communities?
Well, the issue, well, first of all, let me start with this. People say we should negotiate with terrorists, and I say absolutely not. We don't negotiate with terrorists. If you look at the track record, these terrorists have the same pattern as the other terrorists like Al-Qaeda and Al-Shabaab in East Africa. They all have the same patterns. Now, I think we need to look at something else here. We say prevention is better than cure, right? But first, what do we mean by prevention? Prevention, when you talk about the bombs, prevention is not having equipment that can detect a bomb 100 miles away from here. That's not prevention. Prevention is when they're buying the necessary materials they need and maybe go online to do some of the stuff they need, we just be at their doorstep. That's prevention. Before they can even put the bomb together, we're there. That's the prevention I'm talking about.
Is it possible?
It's very possible. Our focus should be more on, of course, preventing the attacks before they actually happen. And secondly, we have to develop a culture of efficiency and effectiveness in everything we do. That is another thing. So I do have some solutions, actually. When I came in this morning, I brought some solutions to this problem. Like I said, my focus is on preventing terrorism, not on actually going after them. It's preventing it. So there are 4 areas that I basically I'm going to touch on. 3 of those areas, there's an economic aspect of it, there's a legal aspect of it, there's a political aspect, and also there's a military aspect of it. The economic, legal, and political make up about 40% of the solution I'm going to talk about, but the military aspect makes up 60%. So let's start with the economic. I'm just going to do some pointers real quick because it's very necessary. These are important, and I'm not here just to play television. I'm really here to help. So the first thing in the first one is economics. First, we need to create SME banks. That's number one, and we need microfinance banks to partner with CBN to invest in the needs of small businesses. Small businesses are the engine of this economy. 80% of small businesses here in Nigeria are 80% of businesses in Nigeria are small businesses. So when the businesses are growing, when the small business start to grow, they're going to start hiring people. When they start hiring people, unemployment will fall. When unemployment falls, crime and terrorism will fall. So that's one. B, we also need steady power supply. We're still on economics here.
Sorry, let me come in here.
Yeah.
When you're trying to link the relationship between crime and development of small-scale, basically the economy of Nigeria.
Yeah.
What's the link? Because these people are saying that it's not an economic agenda. It's a purely ideological.
No, everything I'm talking about today is not ideological. These are things we can do now. I mean, there's nothing that stops us from doing these things. That's why I'm here. I mean, we sell ourselves short all the time. I mean, why do we always think we can't do things? There is no difference between, America does not have 10 heads. They've got 1 head each. We do the same too. So what is stopping us from doing these things?
Can I also come in here?
Yeah.
I respect the fact that, I wanted to go on with those solutions.
Okay,
but I'd like
fine.
to bring to your attention that we do have microfinance banks in this country.
Absolutely.
We do have also, we have microfinance banks in this country, and they're quite a number of them.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I said is they need to partner with CBN so that they can develop, because what small businesses are saying is this: they're not getting help from CBN, okay? Some of the small business CEOs are saying to themselves, listen, we need members of CBN to be on our board so that we can work together. Instead of giving us a loan, we need CBN to come and partner with us so that they can give us the money at our rates, at a good rate. But you can't have there are thousands and thousands of small businesses and microfinance banks. So you can't have people from CBN on every board of each of these businesses. So what happens is, I think they're working on this as I speak. I think CBN need to partner with those microfinance banks so that they can help them, and then small businesses can go to those microfinance banks and get whatever they need to grow.
All right, okay, let's go on.
Okay, so we need to, first of all, have steady power. I know that that's probably a little bit far-fetched, but we're also working on that. Right now, they're talking about privatization. They're working on that privatization as we speak. And once they do that, I think another area of growth will be agriculture. So these are the 2 areas, but I don't want to go into them too deep because what I'm going to talk about is a military option. Second, we have the legal aspect. We need to pass laws to cover the loopholes to financial crimes and money laundering. We know that terrorists, they utilize financing to do their operations, and they use laundered money to do that. That's what we know in the intelligence community. So what we need to do is to simply close those loopholes so that it can put a dent to their operations. Do you understand? So that's another area we need to look at. I know that the government is doing something about that as well. We have created the NFIU, and we've also passed a law recently to close the gap a little bit. The loophole.
Sorry, let me
come in.
Sulaiman, does the Swiss banks come into this picture now when you talk about the laundering of money abroad?
Well, I don't want to.
I want you to be specific in this.
In this area, I can't be specific in a lot of things that I'm talking about when it comes to terrorism and intelligence. So I don't know who's involved, but I think strictly we need to close those loopholes no matter what we do. We have to work with the international organizations. I mean, that's a given, because this terrorist is not just for Nigeria only. This is worldwide.